The reporter with President team is working from Akorda, where the significant diplomatic event is taking place. Today, the President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, will host his counterpart, the General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam Central Committee, To Lam, who is paying his first state visit to the country. During his two-day state visit, the Vietnamese party leader and the head of state will have a series of negotiations. They also will take part in a military parade in Astana. We're here to follow the agenda of events to keep you informed, so let's get started. So, as you can see, General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam Central Committee, To Lam, starts his first state visit to Kazakhstan. He is welcomed and hosted by the President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. As I said previously, this is the first trip of the Vietnam's party leader to Kazakhstan, and it is the part of his tour that includes countries such as Azerbaijan, Russia, and Belarus. It is expected that the leaders of countries will hold bilateral negotiations to discuss the perspectives of trade and economy and all other important issues. The moments before the start of the welcoming ceremony, the members of the official delegation of two countries arrive in the Akorda residence, using some spare moments for talking to each other and taking collective photos.
We are now expecting to enter a new period of cooperation. During the visit, the two sides would, I think, announce the elevation of our relationship to strategic partnership. This means that the cooperation would expand and deepen in all areas of cooperation.
Now the welcoming ceremony kicks off with the leaders of Kazakhstan and Vietnam listening to the national anthems of two countries. Negotiations in the extended format are now underway. You can see the President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, welcomed his counterpart here in Akorda residence. Trade, economy, investments, and tourism, as well as education, is on agenda of negotiations. Welcoming the Vietnamese delegation, the President expresses support for Vietnam's strategic goal of becoming one of the world's 25 largest economies by 2040, emphasizing Kazakhstan's readiness to provide comprehensive assistance in achieving this ambitious goal.
At present, trade, economic and investment cooperation between Kazakhstan and Vietnam is developing dynamically. In a short time, we have successfully implemented a number of major projects that are all prerequisites for further expansion of mutually beneficial ties. The document signed during this historic visit will give a new impetus to strengthening Kazakh-Vietnamese relations. Vietnam and Kazakhstan have enjoyed close relations for decades. In August 1959, our President Ho Chi Minh paid an official visit to Kazakhstan, laying a solid foundation for the traditional friendship and long-standing cooperation between our two peoples. Since then, the bilateral relationship has progressively developed, thanks to the efforts of generations of leaders and citizens.
Highlighting the outstanding contribution of the Vietnamese General Secretary to strengthening the bonds of friendship and cooperation between countries, President Tokayev presents To Lam the State Order of Dostik, first grade, adding that both Astana and Hanoi have established a truly strategic relationship.
Нұрлан Жақыпов, Самұрық-Қазына акционерлік қоғамының басқарма төрағасы.
Trade and investments are a significant part of cooperation. Kazakh Samruk-Kazyna joint stock company in Vietnam's Sovico Group has finalized a deal on forming a joint venture with Kazakh Air operating Boeing 737 jets. Vietjet Kazakhstan will be a new generation low-cost airline, an important aviation bridge between Kazakhstan and Vietnam.
New company will be named Vietjet Kazakhstan. It will be operating in Kazakhstan inbound and outbound, and I think this will strengthen the competition on the local market and increase the level of service that we will provide to our passengers and customers.
What particular opportunities it will open for the market, so aviation market of Kazakhstan and Central Asia as well?
We will enhance the competition, and according to our agreement, Vietjet, so also Sovico will provide a new 20 additional aircrafts to Kazakh market, to Vietjet Kazakhstan.
We think it is laying the foundation for future enhanced cooperation, not only for the airlines themselves, but for trade, for tourism, for education, for people-to-people link. I think where we have the direct flight, we have the direct investment, direct trade, direct cooperation. Vietjet, they have also the hub in Ireland. Yes. So I think it is from Vietnam, Central Asia, and Europe. So it's very important for this supply chain, and the value added will be very important. How we see Kazakhstan is really the hub for Vietnam, where we see from Vietnam and the hub here. From here, we can go also to the Middle East.
Yeah.
And from here, you go to Europe. From here, you go to China. From here, you go to Russia.
Another promising area of cooperation is digitalization. Both Kazakh and Vietnamese partners express a deep interest in enhancing partnership in e-golf solutions, fintech and AI.
We had a meeting with Minister of IT and Science this morning and agreed to develop cooperation in several fields. They want to develop their e-government platform, where we are developed at. And as you know, we are top 24 country in terms of e-government development index as per UN indicators, and top 10 country in terms of online services, and more than 90% of our services are available online. They would like to reach this year 70%, so they're asking us to help us and guide how to improve on that front.
So here you see the place where the head of state will deliver his speech today, welcoming the participants of the Grand Military Parade in the center of Astana. The head of state will be joined by the veterans of the Great Patriotic War, as well as political leadership of the country and the General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam Central Committee, To Lam, who's paid his state visit to the country. Reporter with President team is working here on set. All exclusive details in our program very soon. The parade is a long-awaited moment of the unity, strength and power, being organized in honor of the 80th anniversary of the victory in the World War II. The parade is expected to showcase the modern, high-tech and historical elements of the military equipment.
Мы говорим в первую очередь о преемственности поколений.
First and foremost, we're talking about the continuity of generations. Our President and Supreme Commander-in-Chief emphasizes that the military parade in honor of Victory Day is perhaps the most important ideological message for the younger generation, that no matter what, one must serve their country, protect their people, and create all the necessary conditions for the development of our independent Kazakhstan.
veterans of World War II, elite military units of the armed forces of Kazakhstan, veterans of the armed forces and other military units, and representatives of the military law enforcement bodies are invited to the parade. Over 5,000 residents and guests of Astana are eager to watch the parade live. We're lucky enough to have a chance to speak to those who saw the atrocities of the war with their own eyes.
Perhaps there was no place on the front that my foot hadn't touched. I, Ajitayev Nur Kassym, born in 1925, was drafted into the Red Army in 1943. I participated in the liberation of the city of Kerch, also fought at Kursk and participated in the capture of Berlin. As a member of the Aviation Rifle Unit, in August-September 1945, went to the next front against Japan. As part of the 293rd Rifle Division, today I would like to wish our Kazakhstan prosperity and eternal peaceful sky above our heads.
Vladimir Belozerov, born in 1925, shared his memories of the war as well as his labor achievements the years after the victory. He was a well-known specialist in construction sphere who always promoted the principles of the healthy lifestyle. In his 100 years, he feels energized and fit.
Участвовал я в боях на Украине.
I fought in Ukraine. I liberated Ukraine. We chased the Nazis to the Dnieper. When forcing the Dnieper, I was seriously wounded. I was hospitalized in Kharkov. The Military Medical Commission recognized me unfit for service and I returned home. I never went to the front again. Later, after full recovery of health, I graduated from the Moscow Economic Institute, worked as a foreman, then as a unit manager for 28 years at the Almaty Combine of Building Materials.
Ұлы жеңістің 80 жылдығына арналған әскери парад өтеді.
The military parade dedicated to the 80th anniversary of the Great Victory has started. A group of flag bearers of the State Guard Service of the Republic of Kazakhstan solemnly bring the national flag and the victory banner to the square.
Ұлы жеңіс күнімен құттықтаймын.
After greeting the participants of the parade, which involves more than 4,000 servicemen, the Minister of Defense of Kazakhstan, Colonel General Ruslan Jakselikov, reports to the Supreme Commander-in-Chief, President Tokayev, on full readiness for the parade. The head of state welcomes the military.
Armsızlar, jonggerler.
So now you can see the head of state has arrived to the military parade here in the center of Astana, and now he's addressing the event, welcoming the participants of this grand event here in Astana. The message is strong. Kazakhstan is paying tribute to the veterans of the World War II, as well as in modern times is committed to its peacekeeping mission, promoting peace and dialogue between countries. The parade will follow. In his welcoming speech, the head of state highlights that the World War II was the hardest test for all mankind, including Kazakhstan. Those formidable days showed that war brings only sorrow and loss, and peace is a priceless wealth. The great victory became an integral part of the history of Kazakhstan and the most important lesson for the whole world.
Today, when the bacilli of aggression and hatred have infiltrated global politics, it is extremely important to convey to all citizens of our state the whole truth about war. Without the truth, it is impossible to know the price of peace. It is unacceptable to distort the historical truth about the war and the significance of the great victory. In an era of global instability, the key task for Kazakhstan is to protect its national interests. Our foreign policy is aimed at ensuring this goal. Kazakhs are peaceful, but at the same time brave and resolute people.
So this is the start of a military parade honoring the 18th anniversary of the great victory, with over thousands of military personnel and the veterans of the World War II who joined the event. The parade features 24 ceremonial formations.
За годы нашей независимости армия Казахстана прошла непростой путь становления и развития. Сформирован новый облик казахстанских вооруженных сил. Создана высокопрофессиональная, мобильная, оснащенная.
Traditionally, the parade is opened by a company of drummers. They are followed by parade formations of the Honor Guard Company of the State Guard Service, officers of the Department of the Commander-in-Chief of the Army. Special attention of the audience is attracted by women soldiers, units of air defense forces, military sailors, and airborne assault troops of the armed forces of Kazakhstan.
The military parade also includes more than 200 pieces of military equipment, including modern tanks, armored vehicles, air defense systems, and artillery.
Ол шабуылдаушы құрлық әскерлерін әуеде қолдауға арналған.
The parade ends with an impressive aerial flight. A total of 66 aircraft took to the skies. Crews of military transport, frontline, and army aviation demonstrate well-coordinated group flights and aerobatics. After that, military pilots paint the sky over Astana with smooth plums in the color of the state flag of Kazakhstan.
Парад очень хорошо прошел, молодцы.
I will say this parade is special because it was not parade for the sake of parade, not for the military, but for the people. As the president said, we need to remember our fathers, grandfathers, and heroes who went through such a difficult path. 80 years after the victory, and many of the veterans are no longer with us. There are very few left. That's why this parade is truly special.
I liked most of all the march of the Border Academy staff headed by Major General Polivanov. Border guards have always been and will always be on guard of our motherland. The parade was excellent. Our military showed excellent training. I am proud that a new generation has grown up in our country. I was very impressed by the focus and cohesion of the military who marched in the parade today. On this day, I would also like to wish prosperity to our country and a peaceful sky above our heads.
So this is the end of the military parades, which was organized very well on the highest possible levels. That was something that generals of the armed forces commented to Silk Way. The week was very busy for the head of state, and we were covering everything that matters. See you next time. Bye-bye.